Two real creepy stories. Story 1. A night of haunting despair. In the heart of an isolated town, there stood a foreboding structure known as the Ravenwood Hotel. Its presence loomed over the landscape, an enigmatic sentinel amidst mist-laden woods, with windows that betrayed no signs of life within. The hotel carried with it a dark history, a tale of vanished guests and inexplicable phenomena that sent shudders through the locals. Few dared to approach, yet occasional wanderers sought shelter within its walls when lost on desolate nights. One such traveler was Emily, a weary soul adrift in unfamiliar paths. She stumbled upon the Ravenwood Hotel's desolate grounds, reluctantly seeking refuge. The heavy doors creaked shut behind her, and an icy chill enveloped her as she crossed the threshold. The lobby appeared frozen in time, cobwebs draped over antique furniture, dust settling on faded portraits, and an oppressive silence saturating the air. Emily's footsteps echoed through empty corridors as she ascended a grand staircase, each step sending shivers down her spine. Her room harbored an unsettling atmosphere, an unease that pervaded every corner. The walls seemed to whisper of forgotten secrets, while dim lamplight cast eerie shadows that danced across the floor. As the night deepened, the hotel stirred with unseen murmurs and phantom footsteps that echoed through the halls. Emily's sleep was plagued by haunting visions, apparitions drifting in and out of existence, their mournful cries piercing through the silence. She awoke to an otherworldly coldness, her breath misting in the frigid air. The room had metamorphosed into a nightmarish tableau of decay and despair. Walls dripped with an otherworldly substance, furniture contorted into grotesque shapes, and portraits twisted into ghastly visages, seemingly observing her every move. Panic consumed Emily as she tried to flee, but all exits were sealed, trapping her in this spectral nightmare. Desperation gripped her, but her pleas were swallowed by the chorus of wails and whispers that filled the cursed hotel. With the first light of dawn, the horrors dissolved like mist, leaving behind a seemingly normal room. Emily fled the Ravenwood Hotel, vowing never to return, haunted by the harrowing night spent within its walls. And the locals whispered tales of yet another lost soul claimed by the malevolent grasp of the hotel, a chilling warning to those who dared to approach its ominous doors. Story 2. The Enigma of the Midnight Hotel. Nestled within a forgotten town, concealed amidst an ancient forest, stood the Midnight Hotel, an enigmatic edifice that cast an eerie silhouette against the moonlit sky. Its imposing structure loomed ominously, veiled in an aura of mystery, its windows like silent sentinels guarding secrets untold. Legends shrouded its past, a tapestry woven with tales of vanished souls and inexplicable phenomena that sent shivers down the spines of the townsfolk. Many steered clear, yet a few daring wanderers sought shelter within its mysterious confines when lost on deserted paths. One such traveler was Thomas, a weary voyager seeking solace in the dead of night. Fate led him to the Midnight Hotel's shadowy doorstep. With trepidation, he crossed the threshold, feeling a chill that seemed to seep into his very soul as the heavy doors closed behind him. The lobby lay frozen in time, cobwebs adorned antique furniture, faded portraits hung on walls, and an unsettling stillness lingered in the air. Thomas's footfalls echoed through empty corridors as he ventured deeper into the heart of the hotel, each step echoing a foreboding cadence. His room exuded a disconcerting aura, a palpable unease that hung thick in the air. Shadows danced ominously in the dim lamplight, and an unspoken presence seemed to lurk in every corner. As night cloaked the world, the hotel awakened with spectral whispers and ghostly murmurs that reverberated through its passages. Thomas's slumber was tormented by eerie visions, ethereal figures drifting through the room, their mournful whispers echoing in the silence of the night. He awoke to a bone-chilling coldness, his breath forming mist in the air. The room had transformed into a nightmarish tableau of terror, walls dripping with spectral tendrils, furniture contorted into grotesque shapes, and portraits twisted into haunting visages that seemed to stare into his very soul. Fear engulfed Thomas as he attempted to flee, but all exits were sealed, trapping him within this macabre realm. Desperation clawed at him, Yet his cries vanished into the symphony of haunting wails and murmurs that filled the cursed hotel. With the faint break of dawn, the horrors dissolved into the ether, leaving behind a semblance of normalcy. Thomas fled the Midnight Hotel, vowing never to return, haunted by the harrowing night spent within its enigmatic walls. And the townsfolk whispered tales of another lost soul ensnared by the enigma of the hotel, a cautionary tale woven into the fabric of their chilling folklore. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Save for the occasional flickering street lamp casting eerie shadows. A lone taxi prowled the empty roads, its headlights cutting through the gloom like searching eyes. Inside the cab sat a weary passenger named Emily. She had hailed the taxi after a late shift at work, hoping for a quick ride home. But as the taxi ventured deeper into the labyrinthine streets, Emily felt a sense of unease creeping over her. The driver was silent, his face hidden in the shadows. His hands gripped the steering wheel tightly, and Emily couldn't shake the feeling that they were not heading towards her destination. She tried to dismiss her apprehension, attributing it to exhaustion and a late hour. As minutes stretched into an eternity, Emily's heart quickened its pace. The streets seemed unfamiliar, morphing into a maze of dimly lit alleys and forgotten corners. She fumbled for her phone, but the battery had died, leaving her entirely at the mercy of the taxi's direction. "Excuse me," Emily finally spoke, her voice trembling slightly. "I think you might have taken a wrong turn. My home isn't this way." The driver didn't respond, his silence a suffocating presence in the confined space. Emily's breath hitched as the taxi rolled through deserted streets, seemingly going deeper into an unknown part of the city. Panic began to claw at her chest when she noticed something peculiar. The cityscape outside the window appeared frozen, as if time itself had halted. No distant honks, no faint whispers of life, just an eerie stillness that sent chills down her spine. "Where are you taking me?" Emily's voice wavered, a tremor of fear lacing her words. The driver finally spoke, his voice a gravelly whisper that seemed to echo from the abyss. "To where you belong." Emily's blood turned to ice. She pounded on the partition, demanding the driver to stop, to let her out, but the taxi hurtled forward, ignoring her pleas. Her mind raced with horrifying possibilities. Was this the end of her journey? Would she vanish into the night, never to be seen again? Suddenly, the taxi screeched to a halt in front of an ancient, decrepit building shrouded in darkness. The driver turned around slowly, his face a mask of shadows and malevolence. With a chilling smile, he uttered, "This is your stop, Emily." Before she could react, the taxi door flung open, and an otherworldly darkness enveloped her, swallowing her whole. The next morning, the abandoned taxi was found by the police, its interior empty. Emily was never seen again, her disappearance shrouded in mystery, just like the eerie taxi that prowled the streets at midnight, a vehicle that traversed between the realms, carrying unsuspecting passengers to a destination unknown, lost in the shadows of the city's darkest secrets. Story 2. The Haunted Fair. In the heart of the city, where the neon lights cast a surreal glow on the bustling streets, there was a taxi that stood out among the rest. Its faded yellow paint peeled away in patches, and its headlights flickered ominously, as if struggling against an unseen force. Some whispered that it was cursed, that those who dared to ride in it would meet an unfortunate fate. One foggy evening, Alex, a young traveler, found himself in need of a ride after a late-night concert. He waved down the taxi, unaware of its sinister reputation. The driver, an enigmatic figure with piercing eyes, greeted him with a stoic nod before the vehicle lurched forward into the misty night. As the taxi traversed the dimly lit streets, Alex noticed strange occurrences. Shadows danced at the corners of his vision, and whispers echoed from the backseat, chilling him to the bone. He dismissed them at first, attributing them to exhaustion and the eerie ambience of the night. However, as minutes turned into an unsettling journey, the driver remained silent, his eyes fixed on the road ahead, as if he were avoiding something in the rearview mirror. "Is everything all right?" Alex asked, his voice quivering slightly. No response. Unease gnawed at Alex's gut as the taxi veered off the familiar route. Buildings seemed to melt into a twisted landscape, and the streets became unfamiliar, twisting and distorting like a nightmare brought to life. "I think you've taken the wrong turn," Alex said, his heart pounding in his chest. Still, the driver remained silent, his hands gripping the wheel with an unnatural intensity. Desperate to escape this surreal nightmare, Alex pleaded, "Please, let me out. I'll walk from here." The taxi continued its surreal journey, ignoring Alex's desperate pleas. Panic surged within him, and he attempted to unlock the door, but it refused to budge, trapping him inside the haunted vehicle. Suddenly, the taxi screeched to a halt in front of an abandoned mansion swallowed by overgrown vines and darkness. The driver turned to Alex, his eyes gleaming with an otherworldly light. "This is where you belong," the driver whispered, his voice echoing with an unnatural resonance. Terrified, Alex pushed against the door with all his might, and it finally gave way. He stumbled out into the eerie silence, his breaths coming in ragged gasps. As he glanced back, the taxi had vanished into thin air, leaving behind only the haunted memory of that spine-chilling ride. From that night on, Alex became a cautionary tale, warning others to beware the haunted fare that prowled the city's streets, preying on unsuspecting souls and ferrying them to a destination beyond the realms of the living, a fate too ghastly to comprehend. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more such scary stories.